Honestly, I've always liked JD Vance, even from back when he was selling Hillbilly Elegy as a Trump skeptic on Morning Joe to now when he's like sort of pushing the boundaries of standard Republican dogma here in DC. A lot of people went from hating Trump to loving him, believe it or not, for entirely sincere reasons, even if those reasons are objectionable. They really believe, they're true believers. And Vance, I think it's worth mentioning, is a recent convert to Catholicism. He's a part of that intellectual milieu, which is a place where these jokes about childless women have become totally commonplace among men in particular. I actually think that explains one of the most viral clips that surfaced since the senator was nominated for VP. It's a quick moment from a 2021 interview on Tucker Carlson's former Fox News show. Let's take a look at that clip.
Saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
So you heard Vance there say the country is now run by, quote, a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. This story is everywhere. It's 3 years old, but it's everywhere. As I'm writing this script, as I'm saying this, there is a massive CNN chyron on the TV next to me that says, quote, Trump running mate Vance attacks Harris as childless cat lady. On my way to the studio this morning, I actually heard a BBC host on NPR press a Trump aide on the exact same thing. Even Jennifer Aniston, for some reason, criticized Vance on Instagram. It is now becoming an insufferable and very self-serious victory lap in the media's current race to find strange new respect for Kamala Harris. But Vance's quip, I think, actually reflects a terrible instinct on the right. It's like mocking the victims of a system that conservatives say they want to topple. And I actually say that because the predicate for the cat lady line is honestly correct and serious. It's just biology. We're wired to care for our offspring. Nothing that heightens the stakes of politics and culture more, and that is not a knock on people without biological kids to say so. It's just human nature. So one of the things that should worry us about declining fertility, for example, is that people in power, and a lot of people out of power, aren't biologically driven to spend every last breath making the world just a bit better for their own offspring. Of course, some childless people are extremely driven. Some people with kids aren't at all, but it's just a different approach to the future, and it's one that we can't really fake and we can't really change. Why, though, are so many women aging into their 30s and their 40s without children? This is one of the greatest problems that Vance says he wants to address on a policy level. He believes markets, as he says, exist for the sake of families and communities, not for the sake of the GDP. He rails against his fellow elites for profiting off like the erection of obstacles to family formation itself. So the smug cat lady jokes just kick people when they're down. And if you take a look at this chart, it's true that unmarried women, which to be fair is not exactly the same as childless women, are hardly the Republican Party's key demographic. It will take a Herculean act of political genius to really change that. That is turning the Titanic around. But first, that obviously doesn't make it right to mock the victims of a culture that has been wrecked by elites on the left and the right, as people like JD Vance say, and I agree. And second, over time, the pain of so many women will actually make those women receptive to solutions because they are not hearing those solutions from the left. I don't think Vance is going to repeat this line on the campaign trail very much. While the attacks on him are dumb, it is also dumb to defend the line, which a lot of the right is doing now. You should appeal to the victims of the culture you're seeking to repair, not denigrate them, when the entire argument is that they were set up for failure by others. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the Undercurrents channel, and I'll see you back here soon.